So with your work as a paranormal investigator, do some people have trouble accepting it, believing it? Are they fearful of it?
Yes, I think if somebody says yes to a certain experience that they had, then they have to go in there and reassess everything that they believe, and that can be too scary for people sometimes. I think of it as a gift. I think of it when something happens to me that you can't explain. It's a gift. When I first started doing this, I was at an investigation at the Lindberg Hospital in Los Angeles. It's an old abandoned hospital. Check it out, it's a pretty cool spot. During this investigation, I had asked and I said, well, what's in this room? And then you hear through the box, it goes, a demon, right? Whether or not that's true or not, who knows? But I went home that night. It was actually the next day, and ex-girlfriend of mine goes, babe, did you get scratched? And I'm like, where is it? She's like, on your neck. And I'm like, yeah, it's been burning, actually. So I went and I looked and I looked into the mirror, and sure enough, there were 3 scratches on my neck. 2 of them went this way, and then 1 went this way. So whatever scratched me had this weird sort of like effed up claw, right?
Oh my God.
And it was like a hypodermic needle scratch. So I can scratch myself like this all day long. It's not gonna make that thin hypodermic needle sort of scratch. And sure enough, there were 3 of them, and they burned. It's unlike anything else, they burned, right? And they stayed there for probably a good 3 or 4 days. And that was sort of the beginning of me. And a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm never doing that again. And I was like, no, I felt like whatever touched me, we connected in some weird way, whatever it was, and that kind of like led me on this whole crusade. And you know, when something happens like that, it makes you ask those deeper questions. Well, what was that? What was it that scratched me? I don't know, but I want to go and try to figure it out.
Do you want to help these entities, or are you just interested in just being present and having them speak to you?
I absolutely go into it with it all depends on your intention. So some people will go in there and puff up their chest and say, I'm gonna kick your ass, come do something to me, you know? And then you might get your ass handed to you in some way. I always go in and say, I'm here out of love and respect. It's your intention. And not always is going to protect you, but it's your intention. And I feel like they sense that. They know. It's funny, they'll know your name before you walk in somewhere. I feel like, you know, I've said, do you know who I am? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, Chad, you know, whatever. Did you know we were gonna be here? Yes. Did you have a hand in bringing us here? Yes. So I don't know what it is. You know, possibly, and these are all my sort of speculations and what I've gathered from people that I've worked in this industry, that maybe we have this sort of like this energy that sort of beams out of us, right? And spirits are able to go in there and decode it, sort of like pick out like things that are like, and be able to know things about us that they couldn't possibly know. So it's weird.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, no. I it reminds me of some things I won't go into, but yeah. I've talked to Dave about certain things. It's hard to talk to other people about it though, because people get scared of it. Yeah.
Well, right, people do get scared of it, and that's okay. It is scary. I mean, before I would go into these places, especially on the show, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely 110% terrified. I would call my mom before I walked in these places, you know, during the show, be like, I love you, you know. I mean, I felt like my life was in danger, you know, because you can't anticipate, you know, what you're coming up against. And maybe that's why I like it, because on set, I know what's coming. I know everybody's lines, you know, but this, it's like, you know, it's completely a whole different kind of fear.
Yeah, that's interesting, that it is such a different thing, because it's totally unexpected, whereas the set is controlled.
Very controlled. Mm-hmm. You know, you might not know where the scene is going or how the acting is going to be, but you know where it's probably going to head and the lines and whatnot. Doing the paranormal, I'll walk in, I don't know what's going to happen, you know, but I know it's going to. I do it because it teaches me something about life and about myself. And again, there's so much weird things in this world that we don't give credit to. why not go out and explore and try to have a weird experience? I mean, I think we all can sort of go back in our brain and be like, well, there was this one time, you know, everybody's got a story in there. But a lot of people are afraid to acknowledge it because it means they have to sort of go in there and open up a different way.
So to other actors, find that other thing that really moves you that maybe is just like a complete opposite of what the business is?
Absolutely. I think, yes, find something. We have a lot of passions. I don't think, you know, we can just have one passion, you know, and for me, acting definitely is a passion of mine. It's who I am. But I found something that fulfills me just as much in a whole different way and challenges me in a whole different way. So I think, you know, assess what your passions are and go after them, because the acting is not always going to be consistent. I think, you know, anyone here that lives here in this town knows that. So whether, you know, if you're an artist, draw. I mean, do something creative in the meantime, or investigate ghosts like I do and call it good. So.